Yeah.
Point. Great. I mean, that's my whole body weight off it. Oh. This is the second episode of all the modifications we're doing to this Mustang. If you missed the first one, what we did was fit the rear suspension, rear poly bushes. We also changed the clutch. In this second part, we've got more suspension to do, more poly bushes, subframe connectors. Then once all that done, we're going racing. It's back to the suspension. Now we're on to the front. I have a coilover to go in here and some bushes to go on the lower arm, the anti-roll bar link. So we're going to get started on that. The good news is if Chris's car keeps giving us all this grief, then I'll soon be an expert on Foxbody. It's really good, because when I started I knew nothing about them. Yeah, so I've got that to remove, the ball joint to remove, this to remove, get the control arm to drop down, remove the spring from there. You know, so I'm just going to start removing stuff, and whatever comes off, and whatever doesn't. It's there's no right or wrong way. I mean, there probably is a right or wrong way, but you know. So these shouldn't be too hard to undo because I've only been on there about 6 months. What is it then? Yay! So, oops, there goes the bearing.
Off.
Yeah. Ooh!
Tension should be off. On camera.
You okay?
Yeah.
Didn't it you?
Yeah.
Good.
So I said, Dad, put your hands there. Especially your liver.
There we go, Chris. We are out. So next we've got to do the shock, which I've got to get to the top side for. So we'll go and do that. Now we have one old as dirt shock absorber. We do. So I'm going to set this somewhere rough for now, and then it's probably going to go get aligned once I've done it, but somewhere with lasers and stuff. This lower arm, I just got 2 bolts, one here, one here. I just quickly started to loosen these off before I dropped the spring out. So these should be, yep, starting to move. Okay. There we go. So I cleaned up the lower arm, pressed in some new bushes, painted it, and it's ready to go back in. I've also cleaned up the mountain bits here as best I could, just so I don't get any crud all in the grease that you put on the poly bushes here. So if you would like to slide into place, come on, slide. slide them. Oh, check that out. Basically installed itself. Brilliant. So like with the rear suspension, what I'm going to do is just nip these up, and once the car goes back down onto the ground and the suspension is laden, then I can tighten up these bushes, and they shouldn't be set in the wrong position and causing issues like that. So I've cleaned the spindle up a bit with a wire wheel, and I'm going to now mount this coil over to here and then put it through the hole at the top, and by winding this up I should be able to compress this spring enough to get a nut on the top, and then we should have sort of an installed front suspension. Now that I have a shock absorber actually attached to the car, you can get these shims in here and bolt it up to the spindle. Right. The whole thing slides through here. Oh no, wait, no. Not yet, getting ahead of myself. Trying to lose the collars. Oh no, I've got grease all over my jacket from the spindle. Right, so to get this fitted properly, I'm probably going to have to take the one off the other side and be able to move the anti-roll bar around, which I will sort out in a bit. So unfortunately I forgot to hit record, but don't worry, you haven't missed much. All I've done is grease everything, tighten up the bearings to the right amount of play, and then I put the caliper back on with the pads. So I'm going to start on the other side. I've got the lower arm and everything to take off on the other side, as well as shock and the spring. And then once I've done all that, we can start looking at the subframe connectors. Yep. Point. Great. No. Punched something. Wasn't my face. It's kind of going up. Isn't it? Yeah, I was, yeah. It's alright. And we also... What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Did you come over here just to distract me? Yeah. Right. Got you. All right. So you'll all be pleased to know that is the majority of the suspension work done. Still have some track rod ends to fit and the bushes for the steering rack, but that'll be done when they come in. So next up is the subframe connectors. But first, let's see how this car looks height-wise.
I mean, it's not that low, really. But then you get underneath, and like there's a really low hanging exhaust, which I guess kind of makes sense. But at the same time, personally, I think you should just run it this low. But
so after a long period of negotiation, where Chris was very, very upset about the height of his vehicle, and he was saying things such as, I won't be able to get off my driveway, and we can't even get it off the ramp, and other various unreasonable statements, I decided to raise it up by a bit. Not happy about it myself, but I guess it is kind of your car. So now we're going to move on to fitting these subframe connectors. We've got two, and they help to stiffen up the chassis. These are bolt-in ones, but I'm ignoring those instructions and we are welding them in. So I'm going to get underneath, start cleaning up the chassis, marking up where I've got to weld, and get them ready to go. Did you just push stop right, is it?
No.
What did you do?
Nothing. That's with my arm to freak you out.
I've bolted this subframe connector up temporarily so I can find out exactly where I need to clean off for the welds. These are those not full length subframe connectors, and they just attach here to here. Right, so we've got everything prepped and ready to weld. I'm going to go get the welder out and start welding this in. I'm going to weld through the holes and around the outside as well, and around here, and then we've got the front to do as well. Some people I've noticed put a plate up here at the front. I'm going to weld it without that and see what it does, and then if we need to add a plate, I guess we can add a plate later on. Started to miss where I was going. Oh well, try it again, shall we? I think I'm going to drop this exhaust, this here off, and then we'll be able to get to the top a little better. It's going okay. I mean, this isn't the best welding in the world, of course, but it's at least welded, and I mean that's my whole body weight off it, and I weigh about 110 kilos, and it hasn't fell off, so I mean it is bolted there, I guess. That should be alright. Alright, so welding's all done on these, and we're also painted. It's not amazing welding, but should be welding that is good enough to hold, at the very least. I have welded the other side as well, it's just I've moved the car on the ramp. So now, just going to start prepping this side ready. I've already marked it in chalk where we're going to be sanding. Welding time. I'm still in there, man. Get out. Get out. I've just been decimated by whatever that was.
Oh, you got a lot of holes in your jaw.
It's still in there. Get out. Get out.
pointless to make the video. He's stripped off.
I've just been peppered. It just gets burning. Right. Just went inside my shirt and it just kept going everywhere. Alright, so we're now all welded and there's a layer of paint on there. Some of the welding is not the best. It's all on, it's all there, and now we have to install subframe connectors. So from now we're going to move on to the steering rack. So for the final piece of what is this never-ending puzzle of Foxbody modifications, we have some bushes to fit on the steering rack here. We got these, there'll be one on the front and one on the back. The ones we've got are offset, so it should raise the rack and correct bump steer and make the steering angle a little bit nicer. I've got new track rod ends to go on, I've got new covers to go on, and the new bushes. So I'll start getting this apart. I've already taken off the castle nut. I've also disconnected the steering shaft at the top, so all I've got to do is get this off and then should be pretty close. Is that ready now?
No, I mean, that's the thread with tapping on. Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go, I think. Are we done? No, not quite. There we go.
Have you got it off?
Not yet, no. Got it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's it off there. Don't want to come out of here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Tell it's off now because it's smacked onto that. Excellent. So as you can see, I've got my new bushes. I've cleaned everything up. I've lubricated inside here, and I've lubricated the bush, and I've lubricated the shaft that the bush goes onto. So it's ready to go on. And you can see it's slightly offset, so it raises the rack up and helps to correct the bump steer. And because it's a bit lower, that will help. So I'm gonna get these in. I'll just push this in there. Yeah, that went in fine. Okay, that's one side.
We are moving. Great. Brilliant. Oh, that's a very good zip size. Broke. Terrible. Just terrible. This side's now really close to where it's supposed to be, so we're going to go put these into the spindles again, tighten all that up, and that's the steering rack bits all done. Yeah, I've got the tracking kind of close to where it's supposed to be, so it's going to go get aligned properly tomorrow. They'll do caster, camber, everything. I'll just give them the specs, and then we can finally take this thing on the road, which is good because we're going drag racing again in a few days' time. Right, so I'm just going to put a cotter pin in the other side and then put the wheels back on, and then that'll be it. It'll be a roadworthy car again. Right, so now it's been aligned and everything, we are going to go for a drive.
Definitely feels low.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's raining. Oh no, these wipers are terrible. Oh, there's that big pothole here, isn't there? Ooh. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, suspension wise, it actually feels really nice now.
It is way less squeaky.
Yeah, like to drive, it's pretty good.
Last time I drove this, it was literally sitting on the rear axle though.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was hell.
I mean, steers well. The steering's very direct now. Like, I don't feel like it wanders as much as it used to.
Before, what you do is you should point it roughly in the direction you want and then control the angle with the front.
Yeah, yeah.
Burger bars open.
Oh, you want a burger? Right, so it drives pretty well. We'll get Chris's opinion in a bit.
Opinion?
Force him to drive it, his own car, back through traffic. Right, so now I have the horrifying experience of being the passenger in this car.
My problem is genuinely the angle of the steering wheel.
Okay.
It's changed.
Oh god, this is the worst. You haven't driven this in so long, you've forgotten how to drive it.
Yeah, basically.
I still do not enjoy being the passenger in this car.
So I'll get used to it. I'll be honest, the steering feels the same other than the fact that this is at a weird angle.
Yeah.
The brakes feel exactly the same because they are.
Yep.
It squeaks way less and bounces around less, which is nice.
Yeah.
Until you hit a pothole, at which point it's solid. Handbrake working slightly more is nice.
That's good.
What else? What else has changed? The clutch is heavy. It's heavy anyway, though.
Yeah. Oh, you did a gross shift to fourth that you do. Oh, you don't deserve this. So what do you think?
Heavy clutch, gotta get used to it by tomorrow. Brakes are the same, no, that's nice. Not everything's changed.
What do you think about the suspension?
No, it's better than not squeaking and rolling around.
So we're at Santa Pod again, and we are going to try and see if any of the modifications we've done to Chris's car are going to make it any faster.
Or slower.
That could be a possibility.
Valid weight and no power.
Yeah, we haven't had any power. All we've done is suspension mods and a new clutch. So maybe, I don't know. It might be a little bit faster. You might have learned to drive it better. Who knows? In the day that you've had to drive it, you might have learned to drive it better. I know you're at work, but still. Chris's previous best is a 15.1. So let's see if we can beat that today.
So what do you want
Alright, so just dump the clutch.
to do? What now?
Not yet. Wait for this car to move. Now. That's it. Bit more, bit more. Stop. Slow down. Right, we're pre-stage, and again. Touch. Staged. Right, here we go.
My own stage.
Oh, you've unstaged. Back a bit. Yes. Right, well, that run went surprisingly well. Your launch was alright, wasn't it?
I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. I'll be honest. I saw like, what's that noise? And I was like, oh.
Well, that was probably a load of fucking stones falling out of the thing. Right, so I went and got the time slip, and Chris got a 15.39 on that first one. I reckon you can maybe squeak this into the 14s with a good clean run.
I maybe never got all the mud off the tyres.
Yeah, maybe. Nuts broke down, I'm pretty sure. Okay.
Get footage of that.
You what say?
Get footage of that, man. People need to see it.
Yeah.
Not the crash. That weird.
You hadn't crashed, mate.
Well, not the breakdown.
Here's a Zamboni. It's a Zamboni, isn't it? Or Zambini or whatever they're called.
I have no clue what that is. It's a Hoover on wheels and I'm into it.
Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I like it. It's going to salt your car.
Look me in the arches.
There's a lot of stuff around here that I really want to go on, and none of it is any of the competitor cars.
No.
Like, I really want to go in that Bluebird, that tractor, the Zambini. In there is a, I think it's a GMC Sierra.
Is it?
Yeah, that I really want to have a go in. And next to that are two strange looking quad bikes, which I also want to go in. Side up. Pre-stage. Bit less throttle, Chris. No, it's mostly tyre, mate. Right, well, that one didn't go that well. That went horribly wrong, yeah. Yeah, that'll do. Green. Oh, you're getting ran by this. You're getting ran. front.
Smoke coming out of it.
I know, yeah. Woohoo! Wow. Yes, that was a good launch. That was a good run. If that ain't your fastest, I don't know what will be. So Chris just managed a 14.9, which is pretty good.
It's as good as you're getting out of me.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a good run. I could feel it was a good run from being in the passenger seat. Did you become a better driver in that time, or did the car modifications make it faster? What do you reckon?
It's probably got something to do with the clutch and the flywheel.
Yeah, the clutch and the flywheel are a lot better now. Suspension wise, I don't think we're at the point of power where the suspension's making any real difference to it.
No. Faster than mine.
No, yours felt faster than that. To be fair, you can never really tell as the driver, can you?
No.
But
The 4 points of contact make everything feel slower, don't they?
My shifter third wasn't very good, and I also had the problem of my launch it didn't spin, but it wasn't like, you know, the best quality launch, was it? Well, so Chris Brown got the time slip for mine, and it was a 15.3. So that's the first time I've ever ran this car up the strip. So 15.3 I am reasonably happy with.
Better than mine at first.
Better than your first one, but it's not the first time I've drove a car up the drag strip, is it?
True.
It's the first time I've drove this car, whereas yours was the first time you drove this car up a drag strip, and a drag strip as a whole. Right, so that's the end of our runs at Santa Pod. It's now the following day and we have to try and get out of this extremely muddy car park. As you can see, Chris is already coated. So Chris's car has now ran its new PB of a 14.9. Yeah, it's all good. Next thing to do to it is power and probably some better tyres. You reckon? Yeah. This is where we've got to try and get out of. Well, made it about 6 foot and it's stuck. This is going to be more of a task to get this out than previously anticipated. Still stuck. The security have given us this nice board that might help, and Chris has gone to go buy a towel to wrap it around the wheel because apparently that will help it get out of here. It's probably been about, what, 40 minutes since we tried to move it, and we have moved it still around 6 foot.
Around an hour later, we managed to get the Foxbody back onto solid ground, which leads me nicely into the next video you're going to see on this car, which is the video of it getting cleaned. If you're looking forward to that video, please subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this one, like, comment, let me know what you thought, and I will see you guys in the next video.